to start with some of your reporting, Maggie, that Trump is literally preparing for his perp walk. He's actually fixated on the idea of being paraded out by authorities. Take us inside.
Sure. So Trump is posturing a strong stance, right? I'm not afraid. He's trying to project strength. He's trying to look as if he is not worried about what is coming. Now, according to people who know him very well, he has spent decades concerned about the prospect of being arrested, literally decades. And so it's hard to imagine that, this is all reality, but he is basically embracing the idea of where this is going to go. And as we've seen over time, when the Access Hollywood tape came out in 2016, he went downstairs outside of Trump Tower and immersed himself in a crowd of his supporters. He has repeatedly tried to show that he is not experiencing shame or hiding in any way. And I think you're going to see that. What exactly that looks like if he's indicted, which, all indications are that it's likely to happen, we don't know, because we don't know what this arraignment will look like. He will be the most famous defendant to be entering 100 or 80 Center Street. It could happen a number of ways, but I think he will want to make sure that he is seen somehow.
As we know, he loves a show, right? He wants a spectacle. But given all the security around it, as Maggie points out, the historic nature, if this happens, he might not get that spectacle.
Yeah, it remains to be seen what this actually looks like. I do think that they know that this image of him walking in, if that is what it ultimately leads to when he surrenders himself, if this indictment comes down, will be this indelible image. It will be played over and over again. I think that's why they want to project strength in that. I still think they, and by they I mean Trump's legal team and his allies, don't think the merits of this case are going to be very strong, that it ultimately will be very damaging to him. But it is something that has really bothered him. This case especially, not just because of the merits, but because it's about Stormy Daniels.
Correct.
And this has been something that, as both of you know very well, it incredibly bothered the First Lady, Melania Trump, when Trump was in the White House and this story was in the headlines every single day. It was a huge issue during the campaign because of just the sensitivity of the nature of it. And so I think that's a big part of why it is something that has bothered him so much. I do think they are thinking of how to translate those images of, if it is him walking into the courthouse, what that's going to look like. As Kristen was noting, they've debated him giving a speech after. It remains to be seen what he does and what that looks like, but it is a very sensitive case for them.
It is, you're right, it is personally very sensitive for him. I think that for his aides, they look at it as the investigation of the 4 that he is facing. That's 4 criminal investigations, 1 in Georgia, 2 Justice Department investigations that have sort of merged into one, and this is the one they say they are the least worried about. The reality is that I'm not sure how much his political advisors actually have their hands around what this looks like. I think what the legal team says matters more here. But if this is where it stays, one advisor said to me earlier today, they feel like they can live with this politically. If it starts to become another indictment and then another indictment, that's a lot of freight. And I think they're not really sure how that plays.